15 is the day veterans of Nigeria celebrated. India follows suit on the same day. Other countries like the United Kingdom observed hers on June the 27th, while the United States celebrates its armed forces on the third Saturday of May every year. Celebrating living and past heroes of a country is a world trend, even though the dates differ. The objective is common. So, is Nigeria really meeting up with the essence of the armed forces celebration? We will know more about this within the next 30 minutes on this episode of Big Story. I'm Thompson. Every year, the armed forces made up of the officers of the Nigerian Army, Navy and Air Force occupy Eagle Square in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and display special parade reserved for ceremonies such as this, remembering the nation's heroes. Before 1970, the event used to be held on November 11 in concert with other members of the Commonwealth nations to celebrate veterans of the First and Second World War.
During the Second World War, the Germans, having suffered a lot of defeat in the Western Front, made a proposition to the Allied forces for an armistice, that is, let them stop conflict. It was accepted, and eventually in 1918 the armistice treaty was signed in Versailles, in a town called Versailles, and on the 11th hour, on the 11th day, on the 11th month of 1918. So since that time, the Allied forces, Allied countries started celebrating Armistice Day.
Members of the armed forces.
Although the pattern of the ceremony remained almost the same, after the Biafran troops surrendered to the federal troops to signal the end of the Nigerian Civil War, the country shifted its celebration to January 15 to honor heroes of the war.
The ensign to the Nigerian Army Regiment of Color is Captain John Ensign to the Nigerian Navy Regiment of Color is Sub-Lieutenant U.A. Kutu. The ensign to the Nigerian Air Force Regiment of Color is Flight Lieutenant U.A.
A glamorous event, no doubt, but it's also intentionally packaged to convey meanings expressed in all aspects of the ceremony, even emblems on attires.
The area where a lot of these soldiers died during the Second World War was covered by flowers called poppy, red poppies. You know, I don't know how that happened, but the flower was red, poppy. So this man agreed, said he would be wearing poppy. So he started wearing poppy. So today, that's why we see on that, in Nigeria, of course, it's January 15, they will put poppy. That is how that flower, red poppy. And it also reminds us of the blood of people who were killed in conflict. It's red. So that's why some people call it Poppy Day, some people call it Armistice Day.
As well as actions and positions taken at every point of the ceremony, especially when the wreath is laid.
This thing you see about them placing their rifles on the ground actually on their toes with both hands and bowing their heads. There is a position the army takes when they pray with arms. That's why I told you every aspect of military life is codified. If you want to wed, if you have a daughter, if you want to pray, there's a uniform for everything. If you want to play games, everything, believe me, there's a uniform for everything, and there's a drill for everything. A certain bugle being blown in the background. It's called réveil. Réveil is waking up in French. But before the réveil is blown, you hear the last post. The last post is that bugle note we blow at the end of the day. Every evening it's done in every barracks. When a soldier falls and is being buried, the last post is blown. And after his body has been reposed, the réveillé is blown. So we blow the last posts during the Remembrance Day and remember that someone fell. The sun set on that soldier. And then we blow the réveillé because it will rise again. And onward, soldier Nigeria. That kind of thing. Then there are other drills you don't see, but I see. There are ways the rifle is carried. If you watch such parades, you see the soldiers marching with their rifles inverted, with the muzzle backward and the butt forward. That's how rifles are carried when a fallen hero is within the midst of the soldiers, when escorting corpses.
There's also the major part, which is the setting out of the pigeons.
Cage has been opened. Please, a
Those
round of
pigeons
applause
are
for Mr.
symbolic. They're a
President.
sign of hope, a sign of peace, they're a sign of, a new beginning. Yes, they've gone, but then we still have to move on.
The show involves every participant on the field, those in uniform and otherwise.
Everything you see in that slot when the press goes to show Nigerians the Remembrance Day parade is a drill. And even our dignitaries, our public office holders, are rehearsed before then, so you can actually fit in, or else you won't tag along. So everything fits in. Certain badges are worn. If you're a bit observant, you are going to see black bands on the arms of the soldiers. When you make meaning of the occasion, the emotional, psychological impact dawns on you. And the next time you see a soldier, your impression, your expression, your interrelation changes. But right now, there's still a lot of communication void, which I look to see, exploited and leveraged on, so that we can come up and begin to think on the same page.